Busan EFM. The English waves come in.
저희는 토론을 하는 거는요, 상대를 긁어내리려고 하는 게 아닙니다. 저희 방송의 심사 기준은 말을 굉장히 잘해서 상대에게 논리적으로 반박하는 것만 보지 않습니다. 얼마나 귀담아 듣고 그 다음 질문을, 그 다음 이야기를 끌어가는지를 열심히 봅니다.
매 라운드마다 최선을 다한다라는 어떤 그런 마음가짐으로 여러분들이 임하신다면 충분히 승자가 될 수 있다고 생각하고요. 그런 것들을 좀 유의하시고, 또 토론을 할 때는 내가 그냥 노트만 읽는 것이 아니라 상대방을 보면서 이 아이 컨택을 잘 해야 되는데, 아이 컨택을 하지 않고 그냥 자기만 이렇게 밑에만 쳐다보는 사람들이 되게 많아요. 그래서 그런 것들을 특히 좀 유의해 주시고요.
그러면 여러분 대망의 대진표를 공개를 하도록 하겠습니다.
Alright, so without further ado, let's start this debate by inviting the Prime Minister to the podium. Here.
Over education upon social issues and their underlying purpose society. And in the Constitution, we can share what we think about one topic. Companies use famous celebrities because they think popularity. People are considered as being happy. It's very beneficial. We're talking about other countries for our own benefit.
아니요. 저희가 1분 만에 다 해결하는 바람에 정말 초스피드로 끝내고 나온 것 같아요.
임파운트도 준비하고 가브나 아파주시 둘 다 열심히 준비했어요.
최대한 그냥 열심히 했습니다.
조금 더 이제
경쟁률이
세진 것 같아요. 작년보다 저희가 작년엔 처음 토론을 해봤고 그래가지고 좀 많이 미숙하고 그랬던 것도 있는데 그때 좀 못했던 거나 실수했던 부분을 보완해서 이번에 나오니까 조금 더 자신감 있고 더 잘할 수 있을 것 같아요.
열심히 하겠습니다. 화이팅! 잘하자.
월드 화이팅!
would like to welcome you to the 5th BeFM Youth English Debating Championship, hosted by BeFM for the grand final round. My name is Minsu Shin, news announcer at BeFM.
여러분 안녕하십니까? 부산영어방송이 주최하는 제5회 부산영어방송 청소년 영어토론대회 그 결선 현장에 오신 여러분을 환영합니다. 저는 부산영어방송 아나운서 허지윤입니다.
The BeFM Youth English Debating Championship has entered its 5th year now, and this year once again we saw many of our students pushing their limits and showed excellence in debating. So we would like to say thank you for all your hard work. Now, without further ado, we will begin the procedures for the final round. But first, I would like to introduce the teams that made through the fierce competition to the grand final round.
제5회 부산영어방송 청소년 영어토론대회 결선에 앞서 먼저 치열한 경쟁을 뚫고 결선에 진출한 팀을 소개해드리겠습니다. 다 같이 PPT 화면 함께 보시겠습니다.
As you can see on the screen, the grand finalist teams are Team Lucente and Team Final Decision.
네, 결선에 진출한 팀은 루켄테 팀과 파이널 디시전 팀입니다. 여러분 큰 박수 부탁드립니다.
And next, please allow me to introduce the adjudicators of the grand final round.
네, 이제 결선 토론에 앞서 함께 하실 심사위원 여러분을 소개해 드리겠습니다.
First up, we have Chief Adjudicator Professor Park Meran.
네, 심사위원장 박메란 교수님이십니다.
Next, we have Professor at Bugyong National University, John Stonham.
존 스톤햄 부경대학교 교수님이십니다.
Professor at Handong University, Chu Jae-won.
주재원 한동대학교 교수님이십니다.
Professor at Inje University, Jang Sung-soo.
장성수 인제대학교 교수님이십니다.
And last but not least, Professor at Busan National University, Robert Kelly.
로버트 켈리 부산대학교 교수님이십니다.
Now, in order to begin the debate, we will determine each team's side and then decide on the motion. And this will be done by a coin toss.
본격 토론에 앞서 동전 던지기를 통해서 찬성팀과 반대팀을 정하고 모션을 발의하겠습니다.
So to proceed, we will invite Professor Robert Kelly up to the stage, as well as a representative from each finalist team.
네, 로버트 켈리 교수님과 각 팀 리더는 무대 위로 올라와 주시기 바랍니다. 여러분 큰 박수 부탁드립니다.
Does this work? Okay. Does this work? Yeah. Oh. All right. So this is the coin flip. Heads. Let it go. There you go. Heads.
So, Professor, which team is heads?
Lucente.
Lucente team it is. So, Team Lucente is heads, and Team Final Decision is tails. So Team Lucente, they will represent the government side, which is heads, and Team Final Decision will represent the opposition side, which...
Would you like to be government or opposition?
Government team.
I guess they'll be the government.
All right. So Team Lucente, which was heads, will be the government side, and Team Final Decision will represent the opposition side.
네, 동전 던지기 결과에 따라서 팀 루케테가 찬성팀, 그리고 파이널 디시전이 반대팀으로 결정되었습니다.
Now, let us reveal the motions on the screens. Each team will separately discuss and determine their preferences, and when each team has chosen their preferences, the two teams will compare.
네, 이제 결선 토론의 모션을 화면을 통해 보여드리겠습니다. 각 팀은 선호하는 모션을 선택하게 되겠습니다. 함께 화면을 보시겠습니다.
All right, students, looks like time is up. Can each team's leader and Professor Robert Kelly once again please come up to the stage?
네, 이제 즉흥 토론 주제 결정을 위해서 각 팀 리더와 로버트 켈리 교수님 무대 위로 나와 주시겠습니다.
Which is your preference? The third one. The third one is basic income. Okay. And what is your preference?
Sir.
Third one also? Oh, well, that's easy. Okay. I guess we'll do the third one on income inequality.
Okay, so the motion has been decided by both teams on the same one, the third one. Then Professor, please read the final motion out loud, please.
Sure. That individuals have a right to a basic income regardless of the capacity or willingness to work.
Now, according to the debating rules, the opposition team will exit the chamber for their preparation, while the government team will remain seated on stage for their preparation, and each team will have 30 minutes of preparation time.
이제 토론 규칙에 따라 반대팀은 준비된 챔버로 이동을 해주시고 찬성팀은 무대 위에서 토론을 준비해 주시면 되겠습니다. 각 팀에게 주어진 시간은 30분입니다. 그럼 지금 준비 토론 시작 30분이 시작되겠습니다. 반대팀 이동해 주시기 바랍니다.
Opposition team, please exit the chambers for your preparation. Government team, you could take your preparation here right on stage.
찬성팀은 무대 위로 올라오셔서 토론 준비를 해주시기 바랍니다.
나가서 얼마 좋잖아. 이렇게 하면 사람들이 이거 안 한다.
Government team, will you please properly be seated for the debate? And now, to officially begin the debate, Chief Adjudicator Professor Bang Meran will announce the opening of the debate.
네, 이제 본격적인 토론을 시작하기에 앞서 박메란 심사위원장께서 결선 토론의 시작을 알려주시겠습니다. 여러분 큰 박수 부탁드립니다.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Let us start the 5th BeFM Youth English Debating Championship Grand Final Round. I'd like to introduce our finalists again. Team Lucente and Team Final Decision. And today's motion is, the House believes that individuals have a right to a basic income regardless of capacity or willingness to work. Okay, debaters, are you ready? Prime Minister, please come to the podium.
May I start? So, Mr. Madam Speaker, before we go on to our own speech, I'd first like to elaborate define about the motion. And first of all, we like to talk about the basic income about this motion. And the basic income, we like to set the basic income as the minimum wage of the Republic of Korea that's currently being activated. And to move on, we like to say about the stakeholders. Before we go on, I'd like to elaborate about the word willingness in this motion. And we'd like to say, Mr. Madam Speaker, that we strongly believe the willingness, and we like to say that this willingness will be decided by the consumers of the certain corporations, and because they are the ones who receive the service, we think that the consumers should be the ones to be, select what is the willingness and select how the consumers will be defined. And this will be further elaborated in our first argument. Now to move on, so we'd like to talk about the related peoples to this motion and about the stakeholders. And first of all, about the employees of the certain corporations. We'd like to say that the employees have the right, they have the basic right to get some basic income about the minimum wage, and they, regardless of capacity or willingness. And we strongly believe that corporations should not define about the willingness of consumers, of the people, of the employees, because we don't believe that they can actually know them as much as those consumers. And so we'd like to move on to elaborate about the status quo that the corporations and companies are providing minimum wage currently, and we would like to continue this status quo, and we will not touch about this status quo. And so now let me move on to elaborate our team's cases. No, thank you. And our first argument is about the company's responsibility. Our second argument is about the practical harm and then last but not least, our third argument is about the benefits of this policy. I'll explain the first and second argument, and our deputy speaker will elaborate our third last argument. So now, let me move on to elaborate our team's first argument about a company's responsibility. Mr. Madam Speaker, when people graduate university or schools, and when they have an interview for a company or corporations, they all prepare for this for a very long time. And so they promise, and when they go to their interviews, and in front of the corporation people, they promise to corporations that they will work their best. And in return, the companies promise to give certain amount of money to and hire them and to the employees. And to link this to our own argument, we'd like to elaborate this in two levels of analysis. And the first analysis is about the employer's rights, and the second is about the company's responsibility. And to move on to our first level of analysis about the employer's right. Mr. Madam Speaker, these employers are not just robots who don't have any emotions. They have emotions, and they know how they are being biased or some sort of other way by the corporation if they do not give a certain money or wage or money not by the consumers' sites. So we think that we should protect the employers' rights, and we'd like to say that the employers are human beings and they should receive those certain money because they have the right and they were employed because of the companies. And this leads to our second level of analysis, about the company's responsibility. We'd like to say that these employers were made into the company because of the company's company, and the people in the company were the ones who actually selected the employers, and so they have the responsibility to take care of those employees. And so we'd like to ask the opposition team why did they actually select those employees in the first place if they're not going to be responsible for their own workers. And now let me move on to our second argument. Our second argument, as I mentioned before, is about practical harms. But before I go on any oral PIs, seeing none, I'll go on to my own speech. And first of all, we'd like to say about three levels of analysis. And the first is about society, and the second is about the company and corporations, and the last but not least, third analysis is about the citizens. And firstly, about the society. Mr. Madam Speaker, as I mentioned before, citizens are not unemotional robots. So we strongly believe that protesting is very likely to happen in the society, and this will actually make the social atmosphere confusing or in chaos. And in cases where the corporations are quite known to people know about the news, will get to know about the news and will hear about the news, and their reliance on the government will obviously, reliance on the government and the company will actually very decrease. And to move on to our second level of analysis about companies and about corporations. As I mentioned before, again, we believe that big protesting from citizens can occur. And Mr. Madam Speaker, what benefits will this give to the companies? And obviously none. And what companies will earn benefit when the employees of their companies are strongly protesting? There will be none of the companies who will actually earn certain benefits. And to move on to our third level of analysis about the citizens. They will about the employers and the citizens. So as I mentioned before, their rights will be seriously invaded, and also to the employees when they don't reserve certain amount of money, when they actually try their best, but the certain corporations or other people misjudge them, they will feel psychological stress or psychological damage because they did not have any intent to just not be willing to work in those companies, but the company just doesn't give them even a basic money for those workers. So this will also be a harm for those citizens. So what have I told you so far, Mr. Madam Speaker? I successfully set up the premises for this debate, and I elaborate our team's first argument about Our first argument about the company's responsibility and that this company should be responsible for their own employers. And our second argument about the practical harm about first society, second company, corporation, and lastly, citizens. Thank you.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, Madam Speaker, and members of this House. Today we are debating under the motion that this House believes that individuals have right to have a basic income regardless of capacity or willingness to work. Before moving on to our arguments, I would like to make some rebuttals to the opposite side. They have talked about that who should pay. They have talked about that corporations should pay for the income should be paid by the corporations, but because for this we would like to have definition challenge for the 3 reasons. Because the government is the institute that provides income to individuals, so we would like to change the incomes provided by the government. And secondly, because government is responsible for a citizen in Korea, the government should provide incomes to the individuals. And lastly, as corporates are not reliable and they earn profits, we would like to have definition challenge. Under the current state of situation, government is supporting people who are not able to work as normal people financially. Since the government has a responsibility to protect minorities, they're doing their best. Under the current status quo, we are strongly opposing to this motion. And for our case, we have 3 strong arguments to support. First is no legitimacy, second, burden of cost, and lastly, inefficiency. I would like to cover the first 2 arguments, and our deputy leader of the opposition will elaborate the rest. For the first argument, we have no legitimacy. The motion is saying that individuals who do not work and do not put effort have right to get a basic income from the government. However, we believe that those people do not have legitimacy to get paid. Since those people who do not work and do not have capacity to work as normal people should not deserve a basic income from the government. It is their own decision to choose not to work, thus they should be responsible for their action. According to the Korean statistics, people who chose to not work are over 50% in Korea. And to providing them a basic income will just burden the government. For the people who are not able to work, such as elderly and disabled, are getting supported by the government, as I have mentioned in the status quo. This will be furthermore presented by our deputy leader of the opposition, and thus there is no legitimacy for those who do not have willingness of work, and they do not deserve the basic income from the government. And secondly, we would like to talk about the burden of cost. We have 3 analyses to support this argument. Firstly, burden of government. According to the OECD, government have more than 10,000 billion debt. If government has to burden more people as individual, it might be excessive expenditure for welfare. By passing this motion, government have to pay all amount of money for welfare, which leads to desperate economic risk. Secondly, we have tax distribution. As Korea have 3.5 billion taxes for military used for military force, and 2 billion won for welfare. This is the statistics of taxes of government expenditure. Government cannot expend more for citizens' welfare. Indispensable government have to spend more money for other aspects such as education, military force. And our last analysis is on burden of citizens. By providing that government burden enlarges the amount of debt, money will just burden the citizens to pay more taxes for those people's welfare. People do not have willingness or capacity should not get the basic income from the government. Citizens have paid more taxes enough though the depression of economic occurs, so this motion is intruding individual rights that have to burden more amounts of taxes, subside of economy in the consequence of passing this motion. Therefore, we are proud to oppose. Thank you.
Deputy Prime Minister.
May I start? Ladies and gentlemen, before I talk about their defense and rebuttals, I want to point out that they have a misunderstanding on the motion today. So, to clarify our motion today, our motion is that this House believes that individuals have a right to a basic income regardless of a capacity willing to work. So this means that if the corporations actually chose them to actually made them employees in the companies, then this means that even they don't have a capacity or even they do not have the willingness to work, we still have to give them an income, basic income regardless of their capacity or willingness. However, the government side just keeps saying that when they do not work, the government have to give the income to give the one of some of the money. So we believe that they are misunderstanding the motion today. Now, today in my speech, I'm going to do three things. First, I'm going to defend to the rebuttals against our argument. Second, I'm going to rebut to their first and second argument, which was there is no limitary, and secondly, the burden of cost. And finally, I'm going to talk about our last argument, which is the benefits to the society. So firstly, I'm going to defend to their rebuttals against our argument. Now, they have challenged our definition. However, we believe there is no problem in the definition because like we said in clarifying the motion, we believe that they have misunderstood the motion. However, the person who are giving the wages are the corporations, not the society, not the government itself. We believe that the corporations have the right to give the wages to the employees they have already picked. So we believe that the government, not the government, but we believe the corporations are the ones who have to give the income, the basic income. Now they haven't rebutted. No, thank you. They haven't rebutted to our first argument. However, they have just challenged the definition. So we are going to accept that they have agreed to our first argument. Now I'm going to rebut to their first and second argument. Their first argument is there is no limit to C, and they said, however, we believe that there is no links between this motion and their argument because of their misunderstanding of this motion. Of the second argument, about burden of cost, they said that there are lots of tax, there will be lots of tax, wasting tax. However, like we said, our motion is not about tax or something. Our motion is that the companies giving the wages or not. So we believe that they have misunderstood the topic. Also, even if the government actually gives tax or something, we believe that we are using these kind of money in an efficient and in a reasonable way because they are the ones who have to work. They are the ones who actually work. So we believe that by using these taxes, it's a reasonable way. Now I'm going to talk about our last argument, which is the benefits to the society. I have two level analysis. Firstly, citizens' perception among companies, and secondly, companies will try to choose the correct employees in the first place. So first level analysis, citizens' perception among companies. Let's say that the company did not give any income to the employees, like our Prime Minister mentioned. There will be lots of protests happening. Then the citizen perception among corporations will get worse. If citizens knew that those employees did not get minimum wages, even they have worked regarding they don't have a capacity or not, then there will be a lot of problem will happen. The companies. So obviously, companies' reputation will get worse, which leads to the boycott or other big impact on companies. Secondly, society. If citizens do not like particular company because they did not give wages, they are going to start boycotting these kind of companies, which will cause a huge impact in the economy and also in the society which we think that has a lot of harms. Also, however, if companies give amount of money, even employees do not have capacity or something, citizens will think that those corporations are actually guaranteeing the rights of the employees, so the perception of the corporations will increase. About second level analysis, companies will try to choose the correct employees in the first place. Because individuals should get basic income, we believe that the companies will try to pick the correct employees who have capacity and willingness in the first place. The problem here is that if some workers do not have willingness or companies, why would the companies actually pick them? There is no reason to pick them. However, so to reduce these kind of mistakes from the companies, we believe that our motion is much more better because the companies will cherry pick these kind of people who have a capacity and willingness in the first place, and this can affect a lot in the society and also companies' quality. I have two level analysis. Firstly, companies' quality will increase. They will choose the employees who have the willingness and capacity, like I'm keep repeating about. So the quality of the company will increase. Secondly, the society. If companies work hard and choose the employees who have capacities and willingness, the society will also get advanced because companies' quality will increase. So whatever I told you, Mr. Speaker, I have successfully defended to the rebuttals against our argument. So second, I have rebutted to their first and second argument, and also we have talked about our last argument, which is the benefits to the society. And we have pointed out that they have misunderstood our motion today. So we believe that we have won this debate. Thank you.
Deputy Leader of Opposition, are you ready? You may start.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Madam Speaker, and members of this House. Today, we're debating under the motion, this House believes that individuals have a right to a basic income regardless of capacity or willingness to work. Now, before moving on to our last argument, I'd like to rebut the government side. We had given the definition challenge for, our leader of the opposition had given a definition challenge for these three reasons. Now, first, government is institute that provide income to individual, not corporates. And second, government is responsible for citizens in Korea. And third, corporates are not really reliable and earn profit. And also the Deputy Prime Minister had talked about by passing motion, the company quality will go up and give good benefits to society. Actually, this argument leads to our last argument about there's no inefficiency. Now, moving on to our last argument. Our last argument is about inefficiency. Now, Korea is giving a privilege to the elders and disabled, such as if they want to use public traffic, they don't have to pay money. If the elders are over 60 years old, they get a privilege that they don't have to pay money while using the public traffic. And second, actually the government is providing basic money to elders and disabled. This proves that the government is giving the privilege because they can't work properly. According to the statistic, the government produced 30,000 for elders and disabled every month. So we, the opposition, like to say that if this motion passes, it can burden the government budget. Yes.
So how can you give all of the wages to the employees when the government gives all of the wages?
We like to say that in this motion we are talking about individuals have a right to be a basic income regardless, and we like to say that in this motion the individual is not just for the employers that are working in the corporations. Now, keep going on to our argument. So we, the opposition, like to say that if this motion passes, it can burden the government budget. This motion is actually saying that without working, they can guarantee the basic incomes. And we can also think of harm of our society. If this policy passes, many people who are striving with finding their workplace and striving with their workplace, they might give up their work and they might give up their finding their work because without their hard work, they can actually earn basic income regardless. Yes.
Why should the government be responsible for the company's employees who the companies actually take in their companies?
We like to say that the corporations, we like to say the motion on the floor is this thus believes that individuals have a right to a basic income regardless of capacity or willingness to work. And we had given the definition challenge and they keep saying the irrelevant point that we had made. Now keep going. Because without their hard work, they can earn basic income regardless, especially for the kangaroo group, as our leader of the opposition had mentioned. There are over 50% of kangaroo group. A kangaroo group is a group that they're striving with finding their jobs, and they have the reliability to their parents. If we have to think, if this motion passes, that how amount of damage will the government will get, because they're not working and just getting the money from the government. Therefore, they're not giving any benefits to society, and they can actually harm our government budget. Now, what have I told you to say, ladies and gentlemen? We have proven that if this motion passes, there's a inefficiency, and by passing this motion, we can have the harm of government budget, and we had given the definition challenge to the government for these 3 reasons. First, government is an institution that provides income to individual, not corporate. And second, government is responsible for citizens in Korea. And third, corporations are not reliable and earn profit. For these reasons, we are proud to oppose. Thank you.
Government whip, please come to the podium. You may start.
As government whip, I will first defend notions mentioned by the opposition team and then rebut about their argument and about their argument, and then I will talk about main two clashes in this debate. First of all, they didn't mention any rebuttal for our argument, and also didn't answer for our rebuttal. So we will accept as they have already admitted to our argument and also rebutted. So also they are misunderstanding about this motion. So we think that we have such a confused debate, as they didn't understand this motion and didn't mention a clear argument and clear reasoning. Also, moving along to the rebut, in the POI they didn't clearly answer for the POI that why government should feel responsible for the corporations. We also do not agree about government have to be responsible for those corporations. So we think that they should have known the characteristic of corporations. In a characteristic of corporations or companies, they get profits from individual, also from the society. So we think that not a government, but corporation and companies should get a responsibility for society and individual. And moving along to the clashes, I have 2 clashes in this debate. First is about efficiency versus employees' right, and second is about benefits, the standard of comparing harm and benefits. First, efficiency. We cannot deny if efficiency is an important factor corporations have to consider. But as corporations and companies hire the employees themselves, we also think that corporations have responsibility as they choose. It's two immoral behaviors actually. So also, even if those leads to efficient outcome, we still think that employees' rights is much more important. We, the government, strongly believe that employees' rights is the first we should consider. For the first reason of this is because of basic human rights. No. Regardless of capacity of willingness of work, as they have worked for corporations or companies and contribute to those companies, they have to get basic income. They surely have to get basic income from those companies. Nowadays, we can recognize that this is the society which value human rights more higher than any other factors. For example, they're practicing actively about minimum wages. For moving along to the second clashes, as they didn't understood this motion clearly, so that we will assume and then compare the harm and benefits. Even they didn't mention any clear reasoning, so I will just mention a few points which opposition should mention to our team. So, in aspects of society, they should have said that people having perception which cannot be adopted in democratic or capitalism society. But even if they said that about harm of society, as PM mentioned, there are much benefits such as aspects of corporation or society. In aspects of corporation, they can much more sincerely to hire employees as they have to keep basic human rights, and also in aspects of society, people will have perception that society keeps citizens' human rights. We think that it is the most important clashes in this debate. It's the most important clashes in debate was the employees' right we should consider. What have I told you, Mr. Speaker? I have successfully defended for their argument, a third argument, and also rebutted to third argument and other rebuttals. As they didn't mention a clear argument and didn't misunderstood these motions, we think that we want this debate, as we have also mentioned the possibility they could say, and also we rebutted about these notions. Thank you.
Opposition whip, are you ready? Start.
Ladies and gentlemen, today we are debating under the motion that this House believes that individuals have right to have a basic income regardless of capacity or willingness. And the government has defined the motion as the minimum wage of Korea, and the willingness is for the consumers. However, we have the defined definition challenge as the leader of the opposition. We have the definition challenge as the obvious fact that the government is the institute that will provide income to the individual, not corporates. And the second, that we are talking about individuals, not the employers for the corporates. And the third, the government is the responsible for the citizens in Korea and also most reliable and trustful institutes. For these reasons, we have definitely had a definition challenge as to be acceptable. And also, we like to emphasize that the individuals are same as the employer. And we like to have the analyze about the disabled and elders on our third argument. So the government team has misunderstood our definition challenge. For these reasons, we should take this debate home.
Yes?
So why are saying that the government? Why are you keep on consisting that the government should take all the money and give the money to the employees when the companies are responsible for their employees and they had taken into their companies?
It is because the government is the whole, only has the sole kind of the rights to protect the citizens and the individuals for the income in our Korea. And also, I would like to say that there are huge miscontradiction on this motion. It's because the government team is ignoring that individuals are not employers, and also the government is the reliable and the compensable institute. And also we like to have two major clashes on this debate. The first clash is the government and the corporation and who should be responsible and the legitimacy. And the second clash is the beneficial and drawbacks, which includes the financial loss. So on this motion, we have three strong arguments. That the first, there is no legitimacy. And the second, there is a burden of cost. And the third, there is no necessity of passing this motion, ladies and gentlemen. On this motion, move on to our first clash, who is the more legitimacy of the government and the corporates. The government team has to provide the arguments such as the employers' rights that as the university students hired by the company, and the corporation should be responsible as the employers. They hired employers by their rights. However, we would like to rebut that. They misunderstood the definition challenge as the individuals are first not employers, and second, why the corporations are the reliable institute than the government. And also, I like to say, as their second argument, as that it benefits to the employer, as the employers have the right to be treated as the good and they do not have the basic income. However, we would like to say they gave enough income to the disabled and elders who are the minority groups of the Korea. We would like to say on our third argument, the disabled and elders, we gave the privilege for the minor groups. So there is the no necessity of passing this motion, ladies and gentlemen. If the elders and the disabled over the 30 years old, they get the privilege as they do not pay the money while using the public traffic. And also, according to the statistic, the government produces 37,000 for the elders and disabled every month. So we opposition team are proud to oppose this motion as there is no necessity of passing this motion. So I would like to say on our second clash, there is a lot of drawbacks more than the benefits on the financial problem. We would like to say the government have to burden all of the money for the cost for the public income. We would like to say to take evidence, according to the OECD, Korea has the more than 10,000 billion debt. And the government cannot ignore this debt that is too burdensome and tremendous amount of money that the government should pay. And also, if the government burden more people as individuals, it might be excessive expenditure for the welfare. And by passing this motion, the government has to pay all amount of money for every individual, which leads to the desperate economic risk that the government team should solve. And also, we would like to say, as according to the statistic of the test distribution, there are a lot of things, such as military sports and also the education, for $3.5 billion in annually. And also, we would like to say that the government cannot expend more for citizens' welfare. And there is no necessity of passing this motion, as I elaborated before. The disabled and the elders are the minority, not the people who do not have the willingness to work. So, we would like to say that our definition challenge was successful on this motion, and they keep concentrating on the corporates, just on corporates that the employers' rights. However, we would like to say we're not focusing on the employees, but the people who do not have capacity and willingness. Adjudicators, we would like to focus that there is no necessity to passing this motion. It's because we're talking about all individuals, not just the basic on the employers. The government misunderstood that the first, in all individuals, not employers, and second, the burden of government that they should solve. And also, we would like to say that the Deputy Prime Minister are talking about the benefit to the society as our second clash. We would like to say, actually, it is too burdensome to the government and the citizens. We should also consider the citizens to have to burden a lot of money for it. And also, we would like to say, as our definition challenge, the corporates are not the institution that is reliable for the citizens. We would like to say they are the institutes which are just seeking for the profit, not for the citizens. So for these reasons, we are proud to oppose. Thank you.
opposition reply, please.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Madam Speaker, and members of this House. Today, we're debating under the motion, this House believes that individuals have a right to a basic income regardless of capacity or willingness to work. Now, we the opposition have three strong arguments to support our case. First, about no legitimacy, and second, burden of budget, and third, about the inefficiency. Now, in this debate, we had two major clashes. First, government, yes, the corporate's no legitimacy, and second, about the financial laws. We like to point that we had given a definition challenge to the government side. For these three reasons. Now first, government is the institute that provides income to individuals, not corporates. And second, government is responsible for citizens in Korea. And third, corporates are not reliable and just earn profit. We like to point that individuals are not only about the employers. The government side only consider the individuals about the employers, and we have pointed the individuals as many sides. We like to say employers are not only the individuals. Therefore, the government side had truly misunderstood our definition challenge. And we like to say that we have pointed that if this motion passes, we have some burden of our budget. Now, we are actually, but not passing this motion, from now we are giving a money of elders and disabled that they can work properly. Now, but even we had mentioned about the kangaroo group, and if this motion passes, they would think they don't have to work hard by the effort, and just they can earn basic income from the government, and this could consider a big harm, big damage to our society. For these reasons, we are very proud to oppose. Thank you.
Government reply.
Ladies and gentlemen, today's debate was such a messy debate because of the definition challenge, which was unimportant. So today we have a lack of engagement from the government opposition team. So we believe that today's debate was such a parallel debate. So it was also hard to find some clashes. Firstly, they had a misunderstanding of today's policy. So they keep restating the model and challenging the definition. However, we believe that there's no problem with the definition, like we keep emphasizing about. But the ones who because the ones who give the wages to employees is the companies, not the government, and this is the company's right to give wages, not the government's right. So we believe that their definition challenge is nonsense, and they did not understand the motion. During our speech, we had during this debate, the opposition team had two burden of proof. So firstly, is their stance bring more benefit comparing to government stance? Secondly, is their stance minimize harm? So they haven't fulfilled their burden of proof, and I'll explain you why. So first burden of proof is their stance bring more benefits. So firstly, they misunderstood today's motion. So there was no such benefits. There was no such benefits in their stance. Also, secondly, they did not give any benefits, but only labeled some harms that our government team can brought up. However, the government team has successfully rebutted to all of these kind of points, and they didn't respond back. So we believe that they have already agreed to our argument. About their second burden of proof, is their stance minimize the harm? So firstly, like I keep saying about, they misunderstood the motion. Secondly, we kept on rebutting and demanding the question, how
to minimize the harms, but they did not rebut to any of these kind of arguments. Our second argument was about the practical harm that the opposition side stance will bring out. However, that they did not respond to these kind of points, so which shows that they also agree to this kind of arguments, and there was lack of engagement. On the other hand, the government team had fulfilled two burdens of proofs. Firstly, does this motion bring benefits? Secondly, does this motion minimize the harms? So firstly, does this motion bring benefits? We have clearly shown you that the citizens' perception will rise, and also the economy will also get improved. And also, we have shown you that why the companies have the responsibility to give wages. However, they didn't rebut to all of these kind of points. So we believe that they have already agreed to our arguments. So we have fulfilled our first burden of proof. Our second burden of proof: can this minimize the harms? We have shown you why companies have the responsibility to give wages, starting from the Prime Minister So we have shown you there are no harms with this motion, but the opposition team did not demand anything about harms that our government team can make trigger. So we believe that there is no harm in our policy, but there is a lot of harm. There is a lot of harm, and there is no benefit in the opposition side's ideal society. So this is why we have won this debate home. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, debaters. Each team may now come to the middle of the stage to shake hands with each other. Thank you again for your outstanding efforts. I wish good luck for all of you. We will need some time to finish our grading.
Now the debating for the final round of the 5th BeFM Youth English Debating Championship has ended successfully, and for the next few minutes the panel of adjudicators will finalize their decision. While the evaluation is conducted, debaters, please take your seats in the couple front rows.
네, 제5회 부산영어방송 청소년 영어토론대회 그 열띤 결선 토론이 끝났습니다. 심사위원회 심사가 진행되는 동안 토론자 여러분은 앞자리에서 대기해 주시기 바랍니다.
Ladies and gentlemen, our panel of adjudicators have finalized their evaluations. Now, our professors will give their feedback for the debating. First, Professor Stonham will give his feedback. Please welcome Professor John Stonham to the stage.
이제 교수님들께서 한 분씩 토론에 대한 평가를 해주실 텐데요. 먼저 존 스토님 교수님께서 나오시겠습니다.
Oh, that's for me. Thank you. Hello? Yes. Okay. So this is the first time that I've adjudicated in this debate competition. And I want to say right at the beginning that I have been really impressed with the level of ability of the students, all of them. It's really refreshing to come and hear, young minds presenting their opinions. Now, having said that, I thought I would like to make a few points about how they might in the future improve their presentations and their deliveries. So I don't want this to be negative, but I want it to be constructive. I want people to take this away and use it to improve their debating skills. The first point, and I'm always making this point to people giving talks, is about the speed of delivery. When we give a presentation, it doesn't matter if it's an international conference or a local talk, we get nervous. And when we get nervous, we talk fast. And when we talk fast, we lose the audience. You know, it goes too fast and they get confused. They find it difficult to understand because things just zipping by. So I always say that when you're making a presentation, just mentally think, I must talk slow. You probably won't talk slow, but at least you'll slow down the tempo of your delivery. So that's the first important point. Don't speak too fast. The second point has to do with eye contact. In a debate, you're trying to convince somebody of something. You want them to empathize with you. The best way to do that is to contact with them, to make them feel that you're talking to them, right, specifically. So you need to make eye contact. You need to really move around the room or whatever, your debating opponents, whatever, and contact them. And try and make it feel like you're speaking directly to the individual. You want them to understand you. Now the third thing also has to do with delivery, and that is make pauses. Don't just speak continuously so that nobody understands anything you're saying because you're talking like this. You need to pause. 1 or 2 seconds. It's a long time actually, but it's not a long time out of your, period assigned. People think, oh, I only have 6 minutes, I must say everything. But by doing so, you lose a lot. People don't understand it because it's too fast. And they don't see, okay, what are the important points? You need to take a pause. After you ask a question, do you agree with me? If I just say, do you agree with me? No, I'm sure you don't agree with me. They don't, sort of have a chance to think about whether they agree with you or not. So make a pause and give them a chance. Also, what I call modulation or rhythm. When you're speaking, you want a certain rhythm. You want to build up to the important point you're making. So you build up gradually, and when you get to that point, you become more forceful. You don't have to shout, but you get stronger and maybe raise your intonation or whatever, trying to make the audience see what is important, what you should remember. To go along with that, when you're making several points, make it clear, this is my first point, ... This is my second point, ... Make people see that you have 1, 2, 3 points. You can do it your own style. I'm not telling you, do it my way because I have a particular personality, but think about how it works for you to make those things. And don't forget about, I would say finally, emphasis. Whichever way you want to do emphasis, make sure that you emphasize the important points and don't try and make too many points because again, it can become overwhelming. So find the points that you want to make and emphasize them. Repeat them even at the end of your talk. Make sure you come back and emphasize them again so that they stay in the mind of the audience, the people listening. Okay, I think that's all I really have to say about this. Congratulations to everybody. Everybody that I listened to today did really well, and I congratulate you.
Thank you very much for your feedback, Professor. One more time, let's give a round of applause to Professor Stunham.
네, 스턴 교수님 감사합니다.
And for additional feedback, please welcome Chief Adjudicator Professor 박메란 to the stage.
이제 심사위원장 박메란 교수님의 평가가 있겠습니다. 박수 부탁드립니다.
Well, basically, I have similar points with Professor Stunham. The delivery speed and the effective use of pauses can actually be much better than simply saying too much. So I recommend you to use pauses effectively. Well, aside from that, Should I announce the winner first or after? Okay, yeah. Well, to the motion itself, basically, the government team was confused with the definition of basic income in the first place. I think that it's the here basic income. You could define your own way, but here, the way I interpret it is like basic income as almost equal to unemployment income or something. So in doing so, because you got confused with this definition, therefore it led to the sort of, applying this to corporations and companies rather than the right of the nation to provide the basic income to the older citizens in the country. So I guess that got that was one of the major problems. And although I must say that the government team was confident, but a little too fast in delivering the messages. And also it's important to listen to the other team while they are speaking. But in that regard, I think the opposition did slightly better. So in terms of the use of strategies, I think the opposition did slightly better. And what I thought was, from the opposition, what you could have brought up might have been, in order to ensure basic income, more taxes need to be raised and so on and so forth. Things like that could have been, mentioned, and that could have really won the debate overall. But simply going back to the misunderstanding of the definition, of the government, therefore, the opposition really didn't go beyond what we expected to go afterward. So anyway, regardless of some of the things, some of the problems that I have mentioned here, still both teams did outstanding job in doing so, and the debate was very, very close. And I hope that you continue your efforts to move on so that you can really become better communicators in English. Okay? Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for your feedback, both professors.
네, 박메란 교수님 평가 감사드리고 스토님 교수님께도 다시 한번 감사드립니다.
Now, let us begin the award ceremony. The first award is the Rookie Award, which is given to a student who couldn't make it to the final round, but received the highest score without any experience in an English debating competition.
네, 이제 시상식이 시작될 텐데요. 먼저 루키상 시상이 있겠습니다. 루키상은 결선에 진출하지 못했지만 기존 토론대회 참가 경험이 전혀 없는 학생 중 개인 점수가 가장 높은 학생에게 주어지는 상입니다.
The Rookie Award is awarded by the chairman of Busan English Broadcasting Foundation, and the award will be handed by Professor Chu Jae-won of Handong University.
루키상에는 부산영어방송 재단 이사장상이 수여됩니다. 시상에는 한동대학교 주재원 교수께서 수고해 주시겠습니다.
The Rookie Award goes to Lee Yoon-hee of Veritas, third grader of Yurak Girls Middle School. Please come up to the stage to receive your award.
루키상은 이윤희 유락여자중학교 3학년 학생에게 돌아갔습니다. 축하합니다.
The Rookie Award will be given a certificate, trophy, and a domestic airline ticket.
수상자에게는 상장 및 트로피와 함께 부상으로 국내 항공권이 주어지겠습니다.
The 5th BeFM Youth English Debating Championship Rookie Award from Team Veritas, Lee Yoon-hee. This is to certify that the following individual has won the Rookie Award of the 5th BeFM Youth English Debating Championship held by Busan English Broadcasting Foundation in recognition of academic achievement and excellence. August 16, 2015 by Jung Hyung-jin, Chairman of the Busan English Broadcasting Foundation. And now we have the Best Speaker Award. This award goes to 3 individuals who couldn't make it to the final round but received the highest individual scores.
다음으로 베스트 스피커상 시상이 있겠습니다. 베스트 스피커상은 결선에 진출하지 못했지만 토론 대회 동안 개인 점수가 가장 높은 학생 3명에게 주어지는 상입니다.
First, let me announce the third Best Speaker. The third Best Speaker Award is awarded by the chairman of Busan English Broadcasting Foundation and will be handed by Professor Jang Sung-soo of Inje University.
베스트 스피커상 3위 먼저 시상하도록 할 텐데요. 부산영어방송 재단 이사장상으로 시상에는 인제대학교 장성수 교수께서 수고해 주시겠습니다.
The third Best Speaker Award goes to Jang Yoo-jin of Grand Slam, third grader of 유락여중 Middle School. Please come to the stage to receive your award.
금양중학교 3학년 장유진 학생 축하드립니다.
The third Best Speaker Award winner will be given a certificate, trophy, and a domestic airline ticket.
수상자에게는 상장 및 트로피와 함께 부상으로 국내 항공권이 주어지겠습니다.
Jang Yoo-jin of Yurak Girls Middle School. This is to certify that the following individual has won 3rd place at the 5th BeFM Youth English Debating Championship held by Busan English Broadcasting Foundation in recognition of academic achievement and excellence. August 16, 2015, from Chung Hyung-jin, Chairman of the Busan English Broadcasting Foundation.
네, 다시 한번 큰 박수 부탁드립니다.
And now let me announce the second Best Speaker Award. The second Best Speaker is awarded by the chairman of Busan English Broadcasting Foundation, and the award will be handed by our chief adjudicator, Bang Meran.
다음으로 베스트 스피커상 2위 시상이 있겠습니다. 베스트 스피커상 2위는 부산영어방송 재단 이사장상이 수여됩니다. 시상에는 부경대학교 박메란 교수께서 수고해 주시겠습니다.
The second Best Speaker Award goes to Kang Eun-hyung of Serendipity, second grader of BeFM Middle School. Please come up to the stage to receive your award.
브니엘중학교 2학년 강은영 학생 축하드립니다.
The second Best Speaker Award winner will be given a certificate, trophy, and a domestic airline ticket.
수상자에게는 상장 및 트로피와 함께 부상으로 국내 항공권이 주어지겠습니다.
Best Speaker second place, Kang Eun-hyung of Punier Middle School. This is to certify that the following individual has won second place at the 5th BeFM Youth English Debating Championship held by Busan English Broadcasting Foundation in recognition of academic achievement and excellence from Chung Hyung-jin, Chairman of the Busan English Broadcasting Foundation.
큰 박수 부탁드립니다.
And now let me announce the first Best Speaker Award. The first Best Speaker Award is awarded by the Mayor of Busan, Seo Byung-soo, and the award will be handed by the Executive Director of BeFM, Kim Young-ho.
마지막으로 베스트 스피커상 1위를 시상하겠습니다. 베스트 스피커상 1위는 서병수 부산광역시장상이 수여됩니다. 시상에는 부산영어방송 김영호 본부장께서 수고해 주시겠습니다.
The first Best Speaker Award goes to Lee Ga-eun of Team Grand Slam, third grader of Isabel Middle School. Please come up to the stage to receive your award.
이사벨중학교 3학년 이가은 학생 축하드립니다.
The first Best Speaker awardee will be given a certificate, trophy, and a domestic airline ticket.
수상자에게는 상장 및 트로피와 함께 부상으로 국내 항공권이 주어지겠습니다.
Best Speaker first place, Lee Ga-eun of Isabel Middle School. This is to certify that the following individual has won first place at the 5th BeFM Youth English Debating Championship held by Busan English Broadcasting Foundation in recognition of academic achievement and excellence from Seo Byung-soo, Mayor of Busan Metropolitan City. Now, let us announce the winning teams at the 5th BeFM Youth English Debating Championship. We have 2 teams for the 3rd place team award, and we are going to announce 1st and 2nd place teams shortly.
이제 제5회 부산영어방송 청소년 영어토론대회 단체 시상식이 있겠습니다. 먼저 3위부터 발표하겠습니다.
The 3rd place team award will be given to 2 teams and is awarded by the president of Bugyong National University. The award will be handed by our chief adjudicator, Professor 박메란.
3위 팀에는 부경대 총장상이 수여됩니다. 총 2팀에게 돌아가며 시상에는 부경대학교 박메란 교수께서 수고해 주시겠습니다.
The first 3rd place team award goes to Team Millionaire.
네, 3위 밀리언에어 팀 축하드립니다.
The winning team will be given prize money of 300,000 won, a certificate, and a trophy.
수상팀에게는 상장 및 트로피와 함께 상금 30만 원이 주어지겠습니다.
3rd place team, Team Millionaire, composed of Kam Ye-ni, Yang Myung-eun, and Kim Eun-seo. This is to certify that the following team has won the 3rd place at the 5th BeFM Youth English Debating Championship held by Busan English Broadcasting Foundation in recognition of academic achievement and excellence. August 16th, 2015, from Kim Young-seo, President of Bugyong National University.
한번 축하드립니다.
The second 3rd place team award is also awarded by the president of Bugyong National University and will be handed by Professor Park Meran, our chief adjudicator. And the award goes to NEWT.
네, 두 번째 3위 수상팀은 NEWT입니다. 축하드립니다.
The winner will be given prize money of 300,000 won, a certificate, and a trophy. 3rd place, Team NEWT, composed of Kim Min-seo, Park Si-yeon, and Kim Kun-young. This is to certify that the following team has won 3rd place at the 5th BeFM Youth English Debating Championship held by Busan English Broadcasting Foundation in recognition of academic achievement and excellence. From Kim Young-seo, President of Bugyong National University.
다시 한번 축하드립니다.
Finally, our 2 final teams who have shown their excellence and passion are remaining. The 1st place team is awarded by the Mayor of Busan City, Seo Byung-soo, and will be handed by the Executive Director of BeFM, Kim Young-ho.
이제 대망의 1위, 2위 시상이 있겠습니다. 먼저 우승팀인 1위에게는 서병수 부산광역시장상이 수여됩니다. 시상에는 부산영어방송 김영호 본부장께서 수고해 주시겠습니다.
Also, can teams Lucente and Final Decision please come up to the stage?
결선 2팀 루케테와 파이널 디시전도 무대 위로 올라와 주십시오.
And the winning team will be announced by our Chief Adjudicator, Professor Park Meran.
대망의 우승팀 발표에는 박메란 심사위원장께서 수고해 주시겠습니다. 다시 한번 박수 부탁드립니다.
Who do you think the winner will be? I think it's important to have good name. The final decision.
Congratulations to Team Final Decision for winning 1st place. And now for the reading of the award. First place champions team final decision, composed of Kim Do-yeon, An Chae-won, Cho Jung-bin. This is to certify that the above mentioned students are the champions of the 5th BeFM Youth English Debating Championship held by Busan English Broadcasting Foundation in recognition of academic achievement and excellence. From Seo Byung-soo, Mayor of Busan Metropolitan City.
다시 한번 축하드립니다. 우승팀 다시 한번 축하드립니다.
The second place team award is awarded also by the chairman of Busan English Broadcasting Foundation and again handed by Kim Yong-ho, the executive director of BeFM.
다음으로 2위 시상이겠습니다. 2위에게는 부산영어방송 재단 이사장이 수여됩니다. 시상에 역시 김영호 본부장님께서 수고해 주시겠습니다.
Second place team, Team Lucente, composed of EU1, Kim Yoona, and Park Yoon. This is to certify that the following team has won second place at the 5th BeFM Youth English Debating Championship held by Busan English Broadcasting Foundation in recognition of academic achievement and excellence. From Chung Young-jin, chairman of Busan English Broadcasting Foundation.
다시 한번 축하드립니다. 다시 한번 축하드립니다.
And finally, I would like to thank all our debaters and also all our participants for their excellence and enthusiasm. We sincerely hope to meet all of you again next year. Now let us announce the official end to the 5th BeFM Youth English Debating Championship. Thank you very much.
다시 한번 토론대회 참여해주신 여러분 감사드리며 이것으로 제5회 부산영어방송 청소년 영어토론대회를 마치도록 하겠습니다.
모두 토론대회에 지금 이제 원래는 이렇게 잘할지 몰랐는데 생각보다 예상보다 잘 돼서 팀워크도 좋았던 것 같고 생각보다 상대방의 부분을 잘 캐치해서 잘 된 것 같습니다.
이번 이제 마지막 결승이 되게 임프롬투여서 친구들끼리 이제 바쁘니까 분열도 생기고 했는데 팀워크 덕에 우승을 해서 되게 기쁩니다.
솔직히 결승전 준비하면서 많이 힘들었는데 이제 진짜 솔직히 예상 못했는데 이렇게 우승하게 돼서 진짜 좋아요.
I know decision 화이팅!